My panties were already pooled around my ankles when I realized there was no stopping him, no turning back. I wasn't drunk, wasn't high, not even truly afraid in that moment. I just stood there, heart a wild drum against my ribs, lips parted, skin on fire, as Marcus, my best friend's widowed father, dropped to his knees behind me and whispered, his voice a silken command, "Let me take care of you, Maya." Welcome to Hidden Love Stories, where we confront the tangled webs of desire, obligation, and devastating choices. Today's story is a raw confession of a young woman's journey into a relationship that promised rescue but delivered ruin. When kindness comes with unspoken conditions, what is the true cost? If you've ever faced a choice that blurred every line you thought you knew, we invite you to listen closely. Please subscribe and like if these unfiltered truths resonate with you. This narrative explores themes of power imbalance and betrayal. Listener discretion is advised. He was twice my age, married once, a widower now. I'd known him since I was a teenager, Marcus Gold. He used to grill burgers for us during sleepovers, my best friend Chloe and me, and buy us pizzas when we cried over some high school drama. But that night, in his opulent study with the heavy door locked and the room thick with the scent of his expensive cologne, he touched me like I wasn't his daughter's best friend. He touched me like I was his. And the moment his tongue met the soft skin of my inner thigh, I knew, with a sickening lurch, I had crossed a line I could never, ever uncross. But I never imagined it would become the favor that would ultimately upend my life and tear my soul apart. My name is Maya. I was 22 when all this happened. I'd just dropped out of nursing school, unable to keep up with tuition, mounting bills, and the constant crushing pressure of trying to look like I had my life even remotely together. I was working exhausting double shifts at a rundown diner off Highway 280 in Birmingham, Alabama. On the nights I wasn't cleaning grease off sticky tables, I crashed at Chloe's place. Chloe was everything I wasn't: confident, a little wild, effortlessly rich. Her father, Marcus, owned 3 sprawling car dealerships and a stunning lakeside cabin we used to sneak off to in high school. Marcus was the type of man who wore expensive suits like armor, a smooth talker, silver threading his dark hair, with intense, dark eyes that seemed to look straight through you. He was generally quiet, but always watching, always assessing. After Chloe's mother passed away from cancer a few years back, Marcus changed. He became softer, almost broken in a way, but never weak. There was a new vulnerability in him that paradoxically pulled you closer, even when he said nothing at all. I remember the first time he offered to help me. I was sitting on their back porch, tears streaming down my face over an eviction notice from my landlord. Chloe was inside, headphones blasting, oblivious. Marcus walked out with a beer for himself, saw my tear-streaked face, and just sat down beside me, the silence comfortable for a moment before he spoke. "You're drowning, Maya," he said, his voice unexpectedly gentle. "Let me throw you a rope." He paid my rent that month. Then the next, he gave me a used car from one of his lots, a significant step up from my sputtering wreck. Then he helped me get a better-paying job at the front desk of his main dealership office. That was the beginning of the favor. But favors from men like Marcus Gold, I was about to learn, never come without a certain kind of heat, a certain kind of expectation. One evening, long after closing hours, I was in his private study at the dealership, supposedly going over some end-of-day paperwork, when I dropped my pen. I bent over to pick it up, and when I rose back up, he was standing directly behind me, his warm breath brushing the sensitive skin on the back of my neck. "You are truly beautiful, Maya," he said, his voice a low murmur that sent shivers down my spine. I froze. That was the first time he had ever said anything so personal, so intimate. I looked over my shoulder, and his hand was already on my waist, his touch firm but not aggressive. I should have said something, anything. I should have moved, created distance. Instead, a traitorous part of me leaned back slightly into his touch. I let it happen. I let him slowly undress me right there in his leather office chair. I let him touch me in places I hadn't let anyone near in years, and shamefully, I let myself feel good, so damn good. That night, as he kissed the inside of my thighs and seemed to pull every last inch of shame and loneliness from my body with his mouth, I knew something profound and irrevocable had shifted between us. But even in that haze of illicit pleasure, I also knew something else was coming, something dark. Something dangerous, something that would make me question if I ever truly had any control, any choice at all. I wish I could tell you that was the only time it happened. That one night of perceived weakness, of desperate need, ended quietly in shame, and I walked away, somehow untouched by the fire. But the truth, the ugly, complicated truth, is that I walked back into his arms, into his bed, again and again. And again. The very next morning, Marcus texted me, "Come by the lake house." Just us. No questions, no apologies, just a command, soft yet unyielding. And I followed it, like a woman hypnotized, drawn by a force I didn't understand, but couldn't resist. He had keys waiting for me at the side entrance. A luxurious room with fresh, crisp white sheets, a silk robe that fit too perfectly, as if chosen just for me. And when he touched me again, this time in the stark, unforgiving light of day, it felt even more dangerous, more real. What started as one stolen night quickly turned into regular weekend getaways. He started sending me money, discreetly at first, then more openly. He paid off my lingering school loans, bought me new clothes, stylish shoes, expensive perfume. He gave me a life I couldn't possibly afford on my own, a life that insulated me from the harsh realities I'd been struggling with. And in return, I gave him every part of my body, every secret corner of my desire. Chloe, my best friend, had no idea. She genuinely thought her father was just being kind, helping me get back on my feet after a rough patch. She even joked once about how I was like a second daughter to him. If only she knew her father had memorized the taste of my skin, the sound of my quiet moans. At first, the secrecy, the inherent risk made it all thrilling. The lies, the guilt, I wore it all like an expensive, intoxicating perfume. Marcus told me I was special, that I had given him life again after the desolation of losing his wife, that I made him feel like a man, vibrant and desired, not just a grieving father, a lonely widower. I believed him. I desperately wanted to believe him, but slowly, insidiously, he began to change, or perhaps his true nature began to surface. He got possessive, then controlling. He wanted to know who I was texting, where I was going when I wasn't with him. He started to subtly, then overtly, dislike me being too close to Chloe anymore. "Keep your distance from her for a while," he said one night, his fingers stroking my hair as I lay beside him in the lake house bed, his voice still soft but with an undercurrent of steel. "She asks too many questions. It's for your own good, Maya." I laughed then, a nervous, hollow sound, thinking he was just being paranoid. But then Chloe asked me why I'd stopped coming over for our regular girls' nights, why I was suddenly so busy. "You're acting weird, Maya," she said, her brow furrowed with genuine concern. "Like you're hiding something. Are you seeing someone?" I lied, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. I told her I was just overwhelmed with my new responsibilities at the dealership, focused on finally getting my life on track, that I was tired, that I had no time for guys. She laughed, a bright, innocent sound that twisted something in my gut, and hugged me. "You better not be sleeping with my dad or something," she joked, punching my arm playfully. My heart almost stopped. She had no idea, no clue at all, but the guilt rushed up my throat like vomit. That night, I told Marcus we needed to slow things down, to be more careful. He stared at me, his eyes turning cold, a look I hadn't seen before. "After everything I've done for you, Maya?" he asked, his voice low, silken, but carrying a threat wrapped in that expensive silk. "After all I've given you?" He reached into his pocket, took out a stunning diamond bracelet, a gift I hadn't known was coming, and clasped it on my wrist, the diamonds cold against my skin. "You don't walk away from me, Maya." And I didn't. I stayed, even when every fiber of my being, every shred of my conscience, screamed for me to run. This tangled web of deceit and desire is tightening. How will Maya navigate this dangerous relationship? If you're on the edge of your seat, make sure to subscribe to Hidden Love Stories and let us know in the comments if you think such favors ever truly come without a price. Then came the night everything almost fell apart. Chloe invited me over for dinner, just the three of us. I hadn't seen her properly in weeks, avoiding her calls, making excuses. Marcus had initially told me not to go, but I knew if I kept avoiding her, she would get even more suspicious. I walked in, my nerves shot, lips trembling, and there he was, Marcus, sitting at the head of the dining table, acting as if I were just another casual guest, a friend of his daughter's. But under the table, his foot slid insidiously up my leg. He stared directly at me, his eyes burning with a possessive heat, while pouring wine into Chloe's glass, his toes deliberately rubbing against the inside of my thigh. I nearly dropped my fork, my breath catching. Chloe was chattering about some guy she met at work, giggling, completely oblivious to the silent, charged drama unfolding right beside her, oblivious to the way I was shaking. Then she said it, the innocent question that almost stopped my heart. "Dad, you remember that night Maya came over to help you with paperwork at the office? She told me you two worked really late. What were you guys working on again?" My mouth went dry. Calvin, Marcus, smiled calmly, a perfect mask of paternal benignity. "Just some old bills and tax papers, sweetheart. Nothing exciting." Then he looked directly at me, his eyes dark, his jaw tight, as if daring me to speak, to contradict him. I nodded quickly and forced a smile. But I could feel my carefully constructed lies cracking, the facade crumbling. One more question from Chloe, one slip of the tongue from me, one wrong look exchanged between Marcus and me, and everything would explode. It all came crashing down 2 weeks later. I had just finished showering at Marcus's main house, not the lake cabin. My skin still smelled faintly of him, of his soap, his life. The diamond bracelet he gave me sparkled on my wrist as I dried my hair in his enormous bathroom mirror. I should have felt powerful, desired, wanted, but all I felt was a deep, consuming hollowness. Marcus was in the adjoining bedroom, half-dressed, scrolling through emails on his laptop like we were a normal, established couple. Like this was just another morning in a world that could never exist outside the confines of that house, that secret. I was about to tell him, finally muster the courage to say I couldn't keep doing this, that it was destroying me. But then my phone buzzed on the marble countertop. A text from Chloe. "We need to talk, now." I stared at the screen, my hands trembling so violently I could barely hold the phone. Before I could even begin to formulate a response, she called. "Maya," she said, her voice shaky, broken. "I went through my dad's phone." I know I shouldn't have, but I saw the messages, Maya, the hotel receipts, the pictures. "You were in his bed, Maya. You were in my father's bed." Silence. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. There was no excuse, no lie left to tell, no clever spin. Just the truth, ugly, raw, devastatingly exposed. "I trusted you," she whispered, her voice cracking with a pain that tore through me. "You were my best friend, my sister, and you were screwing my dad behind my back." Then she hung up. That was the last time Chloe ever spoke to me. She blocked my number. She posted a cryptic tweet that lit up our mutual friend circle like wildfire. Whispers turned into screenshots. Secrets turned into public judgment. I lost friends. I lost the job at the dealership. I lost the only person who had ever felt like true family, like home. And Marcus. He changed too, almost instantly. Once Chloe found out, he distanced himself with the swift, cold precision of a politician dodging a career-ending scandal. He said we needed space, that he had to protect his image, his relationship with his daughter, that I should lay low. And then, just like that, the money stopped. The gifts disappeared. No more invitations to the lake house, no more expensive dinners, no more soft promises whispered in the dark. Just silence. He had used me, and I had let him. Not because I was inherently weak or stupid, but because I was starving for comfort, for validation, for a semblance of the love I never got in the right places, from the right people. I had confused his predatory attention for genuine care. I had mistaken his calculated lust for real affection. And by the time I finally saw the difference, it was far, far too late. I hit rock bottom a month later. Back at the diner, the one I'd sworn I'd never return to, back to scraping tips and smelling like stale coffee and fried food. No degree. No best friend, no man, just a crushing, suffocating shame. But something changed in me then, in that desolate place. That shame? I started to turn it into fuel. I went back to school, online courses at first, then community college again. Paid every single dime myself, working 2, sometimes 3, menial jobs. I found therapy, a kind, older woman who listened without judgment. I found healing, slow and arduous. I started telling my story, not as a victim, but as a woman who had learned, the hardest way imaginable, that some favors come with a price tag so exorbitant it can cost you your soul. That some ropes thrown to a drowning person are attached to anchors. I never blamed Marcus, not fully. He was who he was, a man driven by his own loneliness and perhaps his own brand of grief. But I blame myself for staying when every instinct screamed to walk away, for choosing silence when I should have spoken my truth, to Chloe, to myself, for betraying a sacred sisterhood for the fleeting, deceptive touch of a man who never saw me as anything more than a temporary escape from his own sorrow, a convenient placeholder. So here is what I learned, what I carry with me every day. If someone offers to save you in secret, make damn sure it is not your soul they are truly after, the very essence of you they are attempting to steal. If someone gives you everything but demands your silence, your complicity, ask yourself what you are really trading in return for those material comforts. And never ever betray the one person, the true friend, who would have fought for you through anything, who loved you without condition, because the fleeting price of lust, of being momentarily seen, is nothing Absolutely nothing compared to the devastating, lifelong cost of losing yourself, of losing that precious, irreplaceable bond. This is a story of profound regret and hard-won lessons. What are your thoughts on Maya's journey and the choices she made? Could she have acted differently, or was she caught in a web beyond her control? Share your insights in the comments below. Your perspectives enrich our understanding of these hidden, complex lives. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Hidden Love Stories if you haven't already. Your support keeps these true stories flowing. Until next time, stay real and cherish your truths.